go. Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It was done using the script shown above me, which uses a combination of these different letter stems here. So you see how at the top row there's a deep divot like a horseshoe or an omega, then there's two full circles, one in the second row, and then a circle that crosses the line in the bottom row. And then in the third row there is a shallow divot like a bite taken out of a cookie. Those are our letter stems, and they make our rows. And then in the columns, there are lines and there are dots. If you count up the number of lines or dots that end on the letter stem, that'll tell you which column to go in. So if you take a look at, let's zoom in, here, to our first word, you see how this deep divot is a horseshoe, so we're the top row, and there's no dots or lines on it, so that's the letter B. And vowels are these smaller circles. Vowels have different positions depending on what vowel they are and if they're attached onto one of these consonant stems. This A is by itself just on the word circle, and it's an A because it's outside the word circle. So here's another A there and another A there. Where an O is inside the word circle, and an E is centered. So even though these are both inside the word circle, this is an E that has been centered inside of our consonant, this big circle here. Here's an E that's centered on the line of the word circle. And this is an O that's internal, like a bead on a string on the consonant. So yeah, vowels are tricky, but they're also always little guys. So these little guys are all vowels. So our word starts with a vowel because you start reading at the bottom and then you go counterclockwise, like a time traveler that is going back in time. So here's our A, and then a B, and another A, and then here is a full circle inside our word circle, and this one has one line on it right here. So that makes it in the last column and an N, so abandon, A-B-A-N. And then this D is a deep divot, like a horseshoe, and this horseshoe shape has 1, 2, 3 dots on it. So those 3 dots on the horseshoe turns it into a D. And then our O is, again, a vowel, a little guy here. This is our O. And the O is on our internal position, so on the line of the consonant stem, so we're like that. And if we look back to our little dealio, we see all of those little circles attached to our consonant stems. We see how there's one deep inside that's on the line of the circle. That is in the O position. It's on the line of the word circle if it's in the E position. Yippee. Yeah. And then we have another N here, a full circle with one line on it. So that would be A-B-A-N-D-O-N, abandon. Here's our A outside the word circle, and this is a double letter because it's a double line. And there are 3 dots on it, so we're in the 3-dot column, and they're both full circles inside the word circle, so second row. So second row, column with 3 dots, that's an L, so that's a double L. So our word is A-double-L, our word is all. I'm just going to adjust this as scotch. Yippee. Okay, this word, starting at the bottom, we have a deep divot like the B, except there are 1 and 2 lines sticking off of it, so that's an H. O, inside the word circle. P, 1, 2 lines on a full circle inside the word circle, and then the E centered. So H-O-P-E, our word is hope. So this first chunk is abandon all hope, and then this is a little sentence circle around our last word, and there's a filled-in circle on it, and that's a comma. So that's the comma. And then we have our next word, bottom counterclockwise. Our first letter doesn't happen until here. This is a full circle that is crossing a line of the word circle. So that's at the bottom. And there are 1, 2 dots on it, making a Y. And then another E, like this E, that is on our word circle. So ye. This word circle starting at the bottom, our first letter isn't until here. That's 1, 2 lines on the W. This is another H, a deep divot with 2 lines on it. And then an O, again, in the internal position. So who. So similar to that H, except the lines stick off in different directions. So who, E, and then this is a shallow divot, so we're in the 3rd row, and there are a bunch of dots in this. To figure out where the dots go, you gotta notice that there are 2 letter stems and 2 sets of dots. These 1, 2, 3 dots are all closest to this letter stem, so that would be R, and these 1, 2, 3, 4 dots are close to this letter stem, so that would be an NT, so E-N-T-E-R, so that's enter. And then this deep divot has 2 lines on it, making it an H with 1, 2 lines, those 2 lines there. There's the E centered inside that letter stem, and then this R has 1, 2, 3 dots there. They're just kind of off in the distance a little bit. And then the E centered in the mouth of that. And then this is a period at the end of our sentence. So, yeah. Big God. I made it rather symmetric and swirly, so it'll look really cool. That's a tramp stamp. Let's go. And I think that's brilliant, and I approve of vulgarity. I'm actually going to shift this down and shrink it a little bit. It seems a little jarring. It's just a little much. It's a little breaks the symmetry a little too much. I want this to match the weight of that. Yippee. Okay, cool. That's better. I like that. Yippee! Thanks. I hope you like it. Bye.